Alexander the Great's conquests were among the greatest military achievements in ancient history. He began his campaign from Greece in 334 BCE with the goal of conquering the Persian Empire, which was the largest empire in the world at that time. Through a series of decisive battles, Alexander defeated the armies of the Persian king Darius III in the Battle of Issus and the Battle of Gaugamela, which paved the way for the conquest of Asia Minor, the Levant, and Persia. He then continued his advance towards Egypt, where he was welcomed as a liberator, before heading to India, where he fought the Battle of the Hydaspes. His campaigns ended in India after the death of many of his soldiers, and he returned to Babylon before his death in 323 BCE, leaving behind an empire stretching from Greece to India, marking a turning point in ancient history. Before his death, Alexander had planned to establish an empire characterized by cultural integration between the Greeks and the other peoples he had conquered. After his death, Alexander left no legitimate heir, leading to a power struggle among the generals who served in his army, known as the Diadochi, the successors of Alexander. These generals fought a prolonged war to divide the lands that were under Alexander's rule. The conflicts eventually resulted in the division of the empire into several independent kingdoms, with the most significant of these kingdoms being the Ptolemaic kingdom in Egypt, founded by Ptolemy I. The Seleucid kingdom in the Levant and Persia, founded by Seleucus I. The Antigonid kingdom in Macedonia and Asia Minor, founded by Antigonus I. This division marked the beginning of what we know as the Hellenistic era, a period characterized by the expansion of Greek culture across the ancient world. The Ptolemaic kingdom was established after Ptolemy I seized Egypt following Alexander's death. The Ptolemaic dynasty ruled Egypt for over 300 years until its conquest by the Romans in 30 BCE. The Ptolemies were known for developing Alexandria, which became an important scientific and cultural center, home to the famous Great Library, the largest library in the ancient world. The Seleucid kingdom was established after Seleucus I took control of the regions of the Levant, Asia Minor, Iraq, and Iran. The Seleucids sought to unite their territories through various policies, but they faced many internal and external challenges, including wars with the Parthian Empire and local populations. Despite attempts to integrate Greek culture with local cultures, the kingdom gradually weakened and eventually fell to the Roman Empire in the 2nd century BCE. The Antigonid kingdom was founded by Antigonus I, one of Alexander's foremost military leaders, who controlled most of Macedonia and parts of Asia Minor. The Antigonids sought to maintain dominance in the Mediterranean region but faced severe challenges from other kingdoms, including the Ptolemies and Seleucids. Eventually, the Antigonids were divided and overwhelmed by Roman expansion. This era witnessed the emergence of a variety of philosophical schools, reflecting the intellectual developments amidst the significant political and social transformations. Among the most notable of these schools were Stoicism, founded by Zeno of Citium in Athens in the early 3rd century BCE. Stoicism was influenced by the philosophy of Socrates. It emphasized the idea that humans should live according to reason and the natural order, avoiding excessive emotion and attachment to material things. Stoicism promoted virtue as the highest goal one could strive for, believing that happiness is achieved by living in harmony with nature and accepting the course of events. Epicureanism, founded by Epicurus in Athens, this school focused on the pursuit of happiness through simple pleasures and the avoidance of pain. Unlike Stoicism, Epicureanism believed that happiness was the ultimate goal of life, with an emphasis on simple pleasures and rationality in living. Epicureans also believed that the gods did not intervene in human affairs and that natural life should prevail. Skepticism. This school of thought also spread during the Hellenistic period, with skepticism being its fundamental principle. Skeptical philosophers rejected the possibility of attaining absolute certainty about knowledge, considering truth to be relative and potentially unverifiable. The Great Library of Alexandria was one of the most remarkable features of the Hellenistic period. Founded by Ptolemy II, Philadelphus, it housed over 700,000 manuscripts that covered most areas of knowledge at the time. Scholars and philosophers from across the Hellenistic world gathered at the library, making it a global center for learning and intellectual exchange. Ptolemy II, Philadelphus, established the library as part of a major project to create a cultural hub in Alexandria, which, at the time, was the most important city in the Mediterranean. The goal of the library was to collect and preserve the cultural and intellectual heritage of the various peoples influenced by Greek civilization. The Library of Alexandria, founded in the 3rd century BCE, became one of the greatest centers of knowledge and culture in the ancient world. It attracted scholars and thinkers from across the Hellenistic world, housing over 700,000 manuscripts that covered nearly all branches of knowledge of the time. Under Ptolemy II, the library became a central institution for the exchange of knowledge. It was not only a repository for Greek works but also for texts from other civilizations, including Egyptian, Persian, and Indian sources. This made the library a true center of cultural interaction and intellectual advancement. The library was a place for many prominent scientists and philosophers such as Archimedes, Eratosthenes, and Euclid, among others. These scholars used the library for research and learning, contributing significantly to fields such as mathematics, astronomy, and mechanics. For example, Eratosthenes was the first to calculate the circumference of the Earth using precise mathematical methods. There was continuous intellectual dialogue between Greek philosophers and scholars from other regions, including Egypt, Persia, and India. This cross-cultural exchange contributed to the advancement of philosophical and scientific thought, and the library served as a place where ideas could be exchanged and synthesized, bridging different intellectual traditions. One of the library's most notable achievements was the translation of works from Eastern languages, such as Egyptian and Persian, into Greek, and vice versa. For example, texts on astronomy and mathematics from India were translated, as were numerous philosophical and religious writings from Persia. This knowledge exchange between the East and West had a profound impact on philosophical and scientific thought during the Hellenistic period and the centuries that followed. After the library's destruction in an event that is not clearly documented in history, but likely resulted from Roman invasions in the 1st century BCE, it remained a symbol of cultural and scientific openness. Despite its destruction, its influence on the development of culture and science in the ancient world, as well as the enduring legacy of Hellenistic heritage, continued to be felt in philosophy and science even in later periods. The Library of Alexandria was truly a meeting point for knowledge and the different cultures of the ancient world. It brought together Greek, Egyptian, and Persian civilizations in an environment of cultural interaction and exchange. It served as a remarkable example of how these civilizations, despite their deep differences, could integrate and thrive together in an atmosphere of mutual respect. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching. See you in more stories.